I know that the processing of the postnatal donation is federally regulated heavily, and within that, you have been able to improve those processes. Can you address that? I don't need you to go into the actual, intricacies, but I also want you to address the cryogenic freezing and how long can it stay like that?
Great questions. The FDA regulates our space rigorously. The primary objective is to minimally manipulate the postnatal donation. And so there are requirements there. Within those requirements and within that framework, we've been able to make huge improvements incrementally over a period of many years to the point where we're able to retrieve a more viable, more regenerative sample post-thaw. Once we cryopreserve it, the sample itself can stay in cryo, and this is at temperatures of liquid nitrogen, which are minus 384 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe, or 192 Celsius. It can stay at that temperature in liquid nitrogen for many, many years and still be just as viable after a decade as it was after a year of such storage. And in fact, we have our own, because our company is 15 years old, we have our own data that confirm that awesome result. We minimally manipulate this postnatal donation. We do not gamma irradiate. We do not add enzymes. We do not add any exogenous molecules or reagents that could potentially take it outside of the scope of minimally manipulated. It's as natural as it can possibly be. And part of the reason that the viability of cells is what it is post-thaw is because of that process, the way we do it, how quickly we do it, and the fact that we have control over every single part of the process.
Follow-up question to that. My understanding, underneath those minimal manipulation guidelines, is that there are some variations to where you can create proprietary processes that make the biologics purer, more lively, energetic with the cell activity. Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. It's really an interesting puzzle to solve. And having the live cells is an indication of how that whole process was done from start to finish, not even just the donation. So it's easier to talk about what we do than it is to talk about what we don't do to keep our process and the product as pure as possible. While we do have proprietary portions of the protocol, the purity of the process and the product mean that we don't use gamma irradiation, which destroys live cells. We do not add reagents or enzymes to break the product free of its extracellular matrix. And so in the end, the product itself is pure and as native to the patient's physiology as their own cells would be, as opposed to even just a molecule that you go buy off the shelf at Walgreens, which is a foreign molecule. Let's take ibuprofen, for example. That is something that is not native to our bodies. But every single component and part of what is in our product is something that our body's already seen and is actually seeing on a regular basis. It's just young, vibrant, healthy, and regenerative.